Hi, we're going to pick up from the last video, just after the last video. In this one, we're going to work on the backend a little bit, and hopefully, by the end of it, we'll have a tiny backend where we can post updates, changes to this user list, and then have a refresh button here that can help us refresh the view. Alright, so that's the goal for this session. So let's get started. So what did we have so far? What do we have so far? Zoom in again. We have that object format, username, parent, and version, and then the version number and a tree like that. Okay. And we want to be able to change the name here and send the update to the backend. Have this updated. So we know when this happens, right? Hopefully we still have. Oh, what did happen? We should have an update code. But let me see. You should call here, should something like that, right? User change command. And we get the new object. So we gonna have a little problem here, because if we only have the new user and we use the name as the key, how will we know which user has changed? Right? That's a little bit of a problem. And I mean, basically, it seems to be a problem because if we have references to that user, they will be broken, right? The other users we still refer to the old name, and we have changed the name. So typically, systems don't let you change the primary key. This is basically the primary key of your record. They would use a hidden key. It's called a surrogate key, which is totally arbitrary. Usually, it's an integer, but it could be anything that is this is unique. And then this identifier, as its name suggests, uniquely identifies the record. So even though you change the name, the identity of the person, of that user, remains the same. Right? Only if you delete it or add a new one would obviously change identity. You have a new record. But by editing an existing record, you're not changing the identity of that record. So that means well, we are missing a field, right? So our model, where it has a name and as a key, is not good. We should have actually an ID. So ID could be string or an integer, and integer is shorter. It's probably good enough if since the namespace of integers is fairly large, right? 16-bit integers would be 65, no, 4 trillion. No, 60-bit is actually very small. 32-bit would be 4 trillion. But if I remember correctly, that's not the kind of key that the database MongoDB uses by default. I think it uses a string because it generates a GUID. So no, I'm not totally sure about that. So, but at the moment, I will use a string, and the advantage of using a string is that I will have less to change, because then the parent will refer as well to the ID of the parent, and it's a string, right? So nothing else changes here. I will try to rebuild, and there will be errors because these fields are not assigned. So let's assign some value here. Whatever works as So nothing. I mean, this is handcrafted. So I will use IDs that I know are unique and short, because I don't want to type something too long. But the backend will use something more sophisticated than this. And here the same thing. Update record. Oh, that reminds me that I don't need that, right? This is actually the same as the input. Okay. What else do we have to change? Same thing here. The ID equal u.id, and when we convert from the list doesn't have an ID, so we need to add this as well. Which means probably that we have an error here. That ID, and that is it. So also let's change the UI to show that column. In addition to the version, I will have the ID. So also this is purely for debugging purposes, and I will need to reduce the size of this column. Alright. Alright, so I have an ID and a version column. Let me lower the size of the width of these columns so that I can see both of them. Okay, 30 and 30. Alright. So now let's do the backend part. So backend part, we have two functions to implement. We have the update and we have the refresh. Right? Let's start with the update, because this way we can actually move MongoDB to the backend. So I have started earlier testb project, if you recall, and it's an Eclipse project. So it's not here. Let's do a new workspace, switch workspace, other, and let's create a new workspace for this. Experimental testb WPF, right? Do here or okay, maybe like this. I already have something like that here. Okay, test the WPF thing. Let's create a new directory. So the reason why I'm hesitating is because I want a clean workspace, but I don't want to check in the files of the workspace into Git, because they are purely well, they're not like source code. So I end up creating a new workspace. Yeah, sure. I'll save that, and we will have a blank, totally blank workspace. We have created a project in Eclipse, no, in Lane, which is the build tool for Clojure, but we don't have the Eclipse project. So the Eclipse project is actually very simple to create. You create a new project of a general type, so basically empty. Then you link to it. That would be the experimental. Sorry, testb. Yeah, that's the one. And then the name of the project is here as well. Okay, finish. So the project is blank, and we have to turn that into a Leningen project. Okay, so this is done, and here we have our project. It's called namespace. Okay, so it's a skeleton project that doesn't do a lot, and we have protobuffer as a dependency. So actually we don't need that guy anymore, right? So we can remove proto buffer and remove the dependency on that. Okay, but we need other stuff. We need the library that that enables us to have a web server. It's called Ring. So Ring, Clojure Ring. That's the one. And we want this what? Oh, we want this as the dev profile. How come I can't select that guy? That's interesting. Alright, so it's a dev profile. So it's a dev profile, and so it's only for development basically. During deployment, the library will not be present. I think it's called profiles, and then dev, and then you put these dependencies, but only if it's development. So that's this one, right? We want okay. Close this guy, and then we have a ring. This guy can't seem to select. I'll put everything ring, the whole thing. All right. So just want this guy actually. Surprisingly, copy paste doesn't really work. Okay. What else do we need? We need the JSON mapping. So it's a middleware enhancement basically to Ring. It's called Ring JSON. So so this would take care of passing the JSON payload. Okay, so this one. I really wish I could just take that part. I can't. And we want the routing, the web routing. So that's Composure. Okay, there you go. Remove all these guys, and hopefully these dependencies would have updated by now. Seems it has. Okay. So we go to the wiki of Composure, and it has a short example about how to make the first rule. I hope it's somewhere here. By documentation example project. Oh, come on. Well, it's really not that complicated normally. The way, I mean, the principle of Ring is a lower layer of the library where it handles the requests and the responses. So packaging the envelopes, passing the headers, all that stuff, right? But the what Composure provides is the routing, basically invoking the proper handler based on the path, the URL. So what we do basically is a REST service. So the REST service will encode the service in the URL, and the payload will be contained as the body of the request. Alright, so the body will be JSON, and that body will be passed by the Ring JSON middleware. But before it's done, the Composure will pass the URL and redirect it to our handler. Right, so they really do all the heavy lifting. At the end of the day, it's going to be so hopefully it's going to be very simple. But it should be an example somewhere. A bit surprised it doesn't. I'm probably not at the right. Or maybe this is the example right here. Oh yeah, this is the example. Alright, now we take this guy and let's do that. Right. So you need to import this library. So I do a require actually it's right there. Clojure route as root. Okay. And another one is require Clojure core. If as well, there is one too many things here, and probably one too many parentheses here. So I'll start a repo. So Clojure is it's a very dynamic language. So what you do is you write code, evaluate it inside a run repo, which stands for run eval print loop, which evaluates whatever you want it to evaluate, and then when it works, you keep on editing the stuff, evaluating statements, and then it's when you're really happy about everything you've done, then you can make it a package out of that. But it's different than the regular cycle where you compile and runs from scratch. It's more like you write functions, very small functions. You test if they work. When they do, you paste it back, and then you work on the next function. Right? So it's a very incremental process, and you work on your program as it's running actually. Right? So this app, this is a demo app, right? It simply defines a route that has a get, and if you call get on the slash URL, you get this message back, hello world. And if not, if it doesn't match any of the route, it will return page not found. So I already ran it, but the route by itself doesn't do much, right? You still need to start the web server. Okay, so getting started is actually using Leiningen template to create the skeleton application. That's why it's so easy, because actually it will create the project with some code in there, right? But we haven't done that. We're actually working from a really blank project, and we're adding stuff as we go. I think though that there is a blank GitHub project where we can go and see what they have done. So example and roots. Alright, so this is basically what we done here, right? The dev app, and they've used they use this to run what is hiccup? Oh, it's actually too fancy. Okay, I don't think we even need that. There's another library we can use, which was called HTTP kit, and I think it will also help us even because yeah, HTTP kit is the way to go here. Let's use that guy. HTTP kit is like a wrapper around all the different technologies that are related to HTTP, right? So you would do the HTTP request, but also WebSockets, and it runs on top of Ring, right? So we still have that, and Clojure as well. So let's go to the server code, and this is even easier now, because this is the code we need. Right. So this application runs on port 8080, and on the request returns hello HTTP. Right. So let's run this. This and run that. Oops, I don't have the proper import. So that import would be HTTP kit. What would be the import actually? Hey, here it is org. Refer all. That's a bit violent, but so we need to restart the repo. Okay, so now on 8080 we have this very simple web server, localhost 8080. One being is doesn't like that. I never knew why though. Okay, so that's that, right? So obviously we want something a bit fancier, but before we do, it's good to have the ability to stop and start the server. It's not actually completely necessary, but it's very good to have. So what we do here, we define an atom, which is basically a variable which can be set atomically. So the reference is set to nil, and if it's we call it stop server. If the reference is server already there, we shut it down. Otherwise we don't do anything, right? So and then there's the run server, of course, right? So the this is the same as the stuff before. You may notice this particular syntax. It means that the statement will be reevaluated every time we run it, instead of binding statically to the value of app at the moment the function was set. Though in that particular case it doesn't make any difference, since we're going to reevaluate every time. But the example is wrapping it in the function here. Or just a comment. Yeah, it's a namespace trick. Okay, so let me shut this down and then do the same. So now server has something, right? Okay, and then I can test that by connecting to it, right? See, I have something, and if I run stop server, it's shut down, and it should not work anymore. Yeah, the cross is yeah, it's not working anymore. All right, so then I can evaluate this guy, and now it's up again. Okay, so actually don't really need to do that, because if you even change the handler live, then they should refresh, I believe. Yeah, right. So this is how dynamic the development can be, right? I will set the my web URL to whatever I want. So let's say 8080, and I want the call to be get users. Right? So this is going to be my web call, right? Which doesn't reply at the moment, but by calling this, I expect to get a JSON back with all the users. So so now it doesn't work at the moment, but once I updated this code, then this should be fine. So what do I need to do? I want to route with Clojure, so I want to define the routes like that. Right? So we want these are examples of we'll use that later, but at the moment it's actually just one guy, right? It would be get users. So we want get users to call the function get users. right? And forward declare this function get users, so that there's no issue with this guy. And the application, instead of returning being bound to app, it will be bound to all routes. So that happens here. Alright, so I need to stop the server because it's changing the, and then I can rerun this guy. Okay, so by now it's really calling, trying to call get users, but get users is not defined, so it throws an exception because I only declared it, I didn't define it. Right? So this is not needed anymore. But I do need to implement def get users. Get users should be something like that, right? So I'll put a skeleton for a moment, and if I refresh this, we are nearly good, except that it should take a request. So we evaluate that guy, and now it's okay, page not found, because it didn't return anything, right? It needs to return some even if it returns a string, it should be fine. Alright, let's return a string. Yeah, okay. But we don't want to return a string. We want to return actually JSON. So let's have some the same mock data, our guys here, but this time we put them in the backend. So we put them in the backend. I still can use one file for that. Okay, let me make the size a bit bigger. It's easier to see. Preference. Text editor. No. Edit. So let's do 12. Yeah, 12 is better. I really don't need all this. This windows, so can might as well put the main window bigger. All right. So what do we have? Clojure. We usually map the types to hash maps, right? So it's not an object-oriented language, so there are no objects, right? So instead we use use generic maps. So this ID would be 0. The name should be equity desk. Oh, I should really copy this guy. But it's okay. So name, parent. So let's say that if parent is not present, then it's the root, right? And version 1. So this is our first guy. The second guy is Alice, which is 1. 2. We said that there were strings though, right? So I should quote them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Alice. This is Bob. This is equity agency desk. And this is Charlie. Okay, so these guys are gone. I need a reference to the parent for this one. 0. Copy up. Copy here. And then this guy copy, and but the parent is 3. Alright, there was something odd here. This actually was wrong, right? Because it's using the name here instead of using the ID. So the fact that it's working is probably not correct. So we do the right thing. We refer to the ID, and then we will see what breaks in the UI, and we fix that. So this is our data, our mock data, and our mock data will be also put as a map, right? So let's say our data is a collection of these guys, right? So a map of these guys, right? And the key is missing, so the key should be the ID. I'm just gonna copy the stuff again over there. So 3 and 4, right? So evaluate this. Is still is okay, and I want the front end, the back end, to return data. So let's do data, but I only want the values. So I need to map the values. I think there's actually vars that should work for this. Let's try that. Yeah, this returns the values out of the map, and this should be mapped into JSON. So it's a collection actually, right? It's a you see the parentheses. So it's a list of values, and we want this as JSON. All right. So that's going to be taken care of by the ring JSON handler. All right. So the response that we're sending here is this guy, right? And as to have it as a JSON, I just need to wrap the response with wrap JSON body. Okay. Okay. So to do that, we need to bring this ring guy, ring JSON. Where is it? Ring middleware JSON as middleware. Okay. Ring middleware JSON can't be found. That is a little bit surprising. Shire ring JSON should be here. Ring middleware JSON. Ring by head. Okay, try again. All right. That's to bring the JSON wrapper. Then you also need the composure handler as handler. So that guy is is basically what we have here, right? But since we want to wrap this guy, we need to define an app that is not strict the all routes. So we combine this guy, the all routes. So that comes from handler /pi /pi all routes. Okay, and we combine this with we start with that guy, right? And we combine this with the middleware, where we wrap the JSON body, or JSON response. JSON request. No, I want JSON response. All right. So that is good. Close this, and now we use this guy instead of this guy. Alright, evaluate that. Oh, no namespace handler. Okay. What about that? Okay. And now we stop the server because we changed the binding, and we start it again and see what happened to our page. Alright, doesn't seem to work. Okay, that is not quite what I expected. Okay, so let's start from scratch actually, right? Close this repo, and then we evaluate the whole thing. because we may not have, I may not have properly run all the commands I did here. So actually I think it worked. Yeah. So the link now is returning this, which looks like oh, this is our XML, right? Name blah, version blah, ID blah. This is very good. One thing I want to check is the content type, but not, and I don't think even matters. There's if I had Firefox, there's a console guy for this. Not that guy. Not this guy. The console. Yeah. So what do we want here? Okay, that was Control Shift J. So we load this page, and I would like to know is text HTML. That's not really text HTML. Okay, I don't know if it matters. I mean, ideally I would rather have application JSON, the right encoding here. But somehow I don't. Okay, let's leave it like that for the moment. So of this code, really, we don't really need this guy, right? It's really from here. Oh, it's already this magical part, right? All the rest was like copy paste from samples. Alright, so we have our server, right? Then this guy, if I refresh, we should have that. Now we go back to our front end and make a web request to get that data back. So we create the real BE guy. That's definitely code, right? Call it B's. Okay, why not B? And it's a source file. I need to move it up. Okay, it's below this guy. And I need to do a web request. So for this there's a library. Not sure I have it already. It's called F#data. F#data. I do not have F#data. So let's add F#data. I have core. I don't have data. So F# data. Yeah, this one. Okay. Install. I want it here. This done? Okay. Yes. Okay. Alright, so we have now to do our function, the same one. Get users. The model was calling mock-we get users. Then it should actually be replaced by get users here. Should be get users, right? And we'll put a notation to help. Well, what was it before? That's the question. It was returning a list of user records, right? So let's say that it's I sequence of user records. Yeah, this should be the same as IEnumerable. That's from system. IEnumerable is that from system. Collection. Generics. Alright, so this is directory IEnumerable of user record. How come? Well, whatever. I actually do need I do want the IEnumerable of user record. So I'm gonna call the BE get all users, and have that guy do the job for me. So this module let get users, and I want to call the backend, right? So I want to do an HTTP request. Let's see how to do HTTP request. HTTP request. Drop data. It should be very simple. So it's alright. So I do HTTP request. That's pretty much it. Okay, it doesn't like it because I'm probably missing some critical imports. Open f#.data. Alright. Now I have that guy, and then I just need a URL, so it's gonna be hard coded for a moment. Localhost 8080 get users. Better probably to have a base URL somewhere. Should be read from the configuration file, right? But for the moment, let's have it as a constant here, and like that. Base URL. It's HTTP protocol. Come on. Right, base URL, and then is plus this guy. So let's give us a URL. We do HTTP request. That returns a string. It returns request string. So that returns a string. Okay, and we know it's a JSON response. So there's no checking at the moment, but later we're gonna check. And now we have to turn that into JSON. We have to deserialize that. So I unfortunately don't remember what was the command for that. But hopefully it's still there. No. Okay, fine. So we want what was the name? JSONnet. Right, this guy. And this is the right one. The serializer. Deserializing JSON. So it's deserialize object, and it was in the namespace open Newton something dot JSON dot that was it. Oops, that was it. Then this guy, it was deserialize object on JSON convert. So JSON convert dot deserialize object, text type and text string. And the type was it's actually an array of user. I don't know if it's going to be smart enough to know that. But we can try. Yeah, this one. This collection. Oh, deserializing connection though. Ah, there you go. So deserialize object dictionary. No. Deserialize object list. Okay, so I want a list of user record. Right. User record doesn't know. Okay, he doesn't know because he's missing the interfaces. Alright, so that returns a list of user records, and let's see, this compares. Alright, and then we downcast that. Well, iList is pretty good. Let's be less strict about the type, as long as it compares. Okay. So one thing though is, well, we'll see what happens. The parent key is wrong, right? It's using the real ID now. Oopsie daisy. And there's an exception. File not found in test VM. What file? F# core. Okay, this is caused by the fact that the library is compiled with F# 4.3.0, and I'm using 4.3.1. It's a version mismatch. I have recompiled that library for 3.1, but there's another way, which is to use assembly rebinding, and I think it's actually easier to do that. So the problem here is that the DLL is the data DLL is using a previous version of F#, and F# is well, the .NET assemblies are very strict when it comes to version numbers, and I wanted to use the latest features of F#, so we are actually using 3.1, but it was compiled against 3.0. But in fact, the #3.0, when it comes to the data library, is compatible. So we have to tell that library that using 3.1 is okay, and it's using assembly binding something. Assembly binding redirection. So where's the name for that? Assembly binding redirection. Okay. I haven't really used that earlier. No, it's the first time I used this. What about this? Did I use this automatically? Auto generate binding redirects. That sounds about right, huh? Okay, hopefully that's gonna be it. So that in the F# file, and I need to open the F# file. Work experimental. Frankly, I think it's easier to actually recompile the library. But since it's a nugget now, might as well try this. Alright, this is our F# guy. Really, there's not even that. Come on. Okay, property group tag. Let me see if that works. Property group tag. This is the one, right? Okay. Alright, let's do that. Hit load. Okay. Oh, it's actually here. There was a warning. So this is the WPF file I need to change, not the other one. So that's the WPF work project. Where is this guy? Well, start there. Alright. Yes. You're gonna have it. And it's gonna be here. This is debug only. Right, condition debug. I want this. I want this all the time. That's very odd. What does it say? Auto generate binding redirect. Yeah, no. Dude, it's ridiculous. Maybe they changed that. Alright, I put it here. This is, I think, my project type for the moment. Yeah, I think the first one is the common one. Okay, let's try that. You load all. Yeah, seems to work. Oh no. Detail. Cannot create a puppet list type Microsoft collection. There's probably something wrong. Why? Okay, if it knows that it went as far as trying to deserialize, but it failed. So let's see why. Push is here. Cool. Name version. The capitalization. I think that's why. Okay, so the names are not right. The casing. So let's try that again. So we go here. We basically want to capitalize every guy. Hopper, and hopper. Okay, and that should change the. Should just yeah, now it's capitalized. Okay, and let's try that again. Alright, so now it's capitalized, Let's see if we can pause it. No, still not. Cannot create and public list of type F# user record path line 1. Okay. Okay. So let's try to break it down. Let's try taking taking that backwards. We start with the user guy here. So we have a this guy and users, right? Let's see if we can serialize it. So mockb users, the values. I want these guys as a list, new list of user records. Okay. Alright, that's not the way it works. You have to do this. You have to do add range. Okay. And also you have to import. Okay. So this is operational, and I want to try to deserialize this guy and then serialize it back. So, oops. What is this? Serialize the object. Alright. Serializer doesn't need any type. And I want the list here. And JSON. Okay. And I want to serialize it back, so I want to take that guy and use JSON here. Let's see what I get. List 2. Okay. Alright, so let's do that again. Okay. So I have seems to be much more verbose than the other guy. So I get this. Okay, and if I take it back, then it works. I have a list of 5 guys, right? But my response from the server is different. It's this guy. So let's see how they differ. Alright, so they differ by what? It's not that different. ID, 0, name equal to desk, parent no, the parent is present, and the parent is not present in the other guy. Version 1, parent 0. I think the only difference I can see is that parent should be there. So let's try that. This can go. It would fail actually. No, it didn't fail. What? I thought it would fail. Hey, wait a minute, I think it worked. I don't know what was wrong before that. Okay, maybe it was cached or something. Alright, it's very odd. Yeah, I think it did work. Okay, so to prove that it worked, let's just change the data and add one more row. Let's call Daniel ID 5. So we have a this guy. Yeah, definitely worked. So now it's getting the data from the backend. But as expected, the tree is not done properly anymore because the conversion here in the user panel, we said that the key is the name, but it's not the key. The key is not the name. The ID is the key. So it's actually in a view. That's the problem is. So parent is right. This is ID, not name. That's what we're using now. So we move the breakpoints. Right. So we're back. Okay. So about 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 minute to do that. Okay. That's good for this time.